We'll rarely find out Jerry Foltz without a beer in his hand or an opinion on his mind. He's constantly in touch with what's happening around our sport, and on Saturdays he shares his thoughts in another round with Foltzy.
Yeah, my soapbox moment, if you will, Arlo. I wish I had a beer in my hand for this one, because it was a year ago, just under a year ago, that the USGA and Mike Wan, their CEO, announced that they wouldn't be changing their qualification criteria for the U.S. Open. And that kind of set the stage for all the other majors to follow suit and do what was, I think, right in terms of the democratic nature of their championships, to stage the best majors they can. This year, their qualification criteria changed a little bit with the addition of a few words to try and, in their mind, limit the amount of exemptions given so that they could protect the integrity of the qualifying process. When they changed those words from those who qualified for the PGA Tour Championship on the FedEx Cup point list to those who are qualified and eligible to play in, it essentially only helped a few players. It could have helped more if more guys had come to join LIV late in the year. But the only players it could hurt were the LIV players. In this case, it turned out being a retroactive in essence, rule change, although that's not the way they would view it, that would keep out Taylor Gooch. Now, that wouldn't be a big asterisk on the competition in and of itself in the history books if it didn't happen to be arguably the hottest player in the game. So it's unfortunate that that is the way it turned out this year. Taylor Gooch will not be competing in the U.S. Open unless he happens to save the day by a good performance in next week's PGA and qualifies through the other criteria to get into the U.S. Open. And in some little small way, in my mind, my favorite championship of the year, it is taking a little luster away from it. And I think that's just unfortunate. I know their motivation for doing so, but it seems a little bit like so many of the powers that be are trying to just squeeze out the LIV players a little bit from them. And I don't think that's what serves the fan. It certainly doesn't serve the most democratic organizations in the game, in the USGA and the RNA and their championships that revere history and tradition.
So for those that perhaps don't know or aren't aware, is there a route, and I think you've just mentioned it there, through the PGA, a route for Taylor Gooch to still get into the US Open?
He could have filed the application and joined the qualifying process. He chose not to. That was his own personal reasons, but he could still make it in with a really good performance in next week's PGA.
Yeah, you finish in the top 6 or 8, I think it is.
Something like that.
Yeah, and you'll qualify for the US Open, so let's hope he does.
Like I said, it wouldn't be a big deal if it wasn't Taylor Gooch, who happens to be arguably the hottest male player in the game right now, coming off 2 huge wins against, whether you like it or not, very, very good fields.
Yep, victory in Adelaide and Singapore for Taylor Gooch. He's on a home territory here in Oklahoma, and